I'm James Parker, and this is Florida Story. Oh my God, thank you so much. All right. For our first Florida story, we're going to go off the coast of Florida a few miles here, where we have a returning figure on Florida Stories. This is going to be the third episode where I've had to mention this guy. So let's go to CBS News Channel 2 for the report.
Now we want to show you this. It's another water stunt going awry. Reza Bellucci from Florida, awry is putting it mildly, he's facing federal charges after being stopped in this vessel. It is a human-sized hamster wheel. He claimed he was just trying to journey across the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the UK, Jim. He was arrested 70 miles off the coast of Georgia in late August after a bizarre three-day standoff where he refused to give up his mission. But Hurricane Franklin was headed to that area, so the Coast Guard was not taking no for an answer. And this was also not Bellucci's first rodeo. He was rescued in a similar situation involving flotation devices in 2014, 2016, and 2021, you know, so he's committed.
Well, in Florida Stories, what we call this is Hall of Fame material. That's what this guy is. If you've been arrested 4 different times for inventing a paddleboard hamster wheel and trying to set off on various explorations throughout the Atlantic, kudos to you. Thank you for all the content you provided to the Florida Stories Nation over the years. And I find it funny because they just say like these sentences that just float and they're gone in 6 seconds and you never really think about them. Except for they say he had a 3-day standoff with the Coast Guard. That means there's this dude in this big dumb hamster wheel with little paddles on it, and he's trying to go across the Atlantic from Florida to the UK for some reason. And for 3 days, the Coast Guard's just, what are they, just boating next to him, talking to him through the bullhorn. Hey, bro, you going to stop? I mean, how do you take a dump in that thing? What's going on here? You don't have enough food. You definitely don't have enough water. Are you going to die from exposure? 3 days. 3 days. This is Florida Man Hall of Fame material. So kudos to that guy.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
And it's been kind of a cool thing in your life that I don't care what you do. There's probably some overseas component, whether you're an accountant or you work in the oil industry or you work in media or whatever you do, where, hey, you could go take this job in Dubai for 2 years, make a boatload of money and come back and return home with just a big pile of money under you. And so that's what this one Florida couple did. But while they were gone, some squatters noticed that their house wasn't being occupied, nor was it being sold or in the process of coming to the hands of anyone who's paying attention to it. So they just started living in it. And these are not regular old pedestrian, regular Nebraska civilian squatters. These are Florida squatters. They're more refined. They're more sophisticated. They're ready. So when the neighbors call the cops and the cops show up, they have what we assume on Florida Stories is a fake lease agreement and a fake rental agreement. And they tell the story to the cops at the time. Yes, my cousin has rented me this place, and here's the paperwork for it, and here's the title to back it up, and it's in my cousin's name, and everything's all Gucci. And it takes the police a while to track all this down. Meanwhile, the squatters get to legally live in your house. I mean, not you, but Florida Man's house. So they're squatters, and they're focusing on Winter Park home, Florida, in this New York Post story, but it's the same model that's being used all over the state. And I don't want to say I admire them for what they do, but there's a certain level of competence that comes with this next level of Florida squatter, that they don't just go, come into an abandoned house and start shooting up heroin and passing out and randomly pooping in the wrong places. But they also have like paperwork to go with it. Again, not impressed, but you got to admit the Florida squatter has shown a tendency to be a little more sophisticated, a little more evolved. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
All right, for our next Florida story, I absolutely loathe this story. I despise this story. This is so freaky and horrible, and I'm sorry to even tell you about this on Florida Stories. But they did this one of those things where the cops set up a fake account on social media, and they say, well, I'm an underage girl who's looking to hook up with some older men, and they have a complete stampede of weirdos lining up that just can't get arrested fast enough. The reason this is making Florida stories, sorry, these things upset me. The reason it's making Florida stories is this is in Polk County, and what we have among the people arrested is 3 Disney workers, a school athletic director. They have, people in the school system and whatnot. Someone even left their 1-year-old home alone to hurry up and go get arrested. But just the sheer number of this, 219 people were arrested in Florida in a Polk County sheriff's sting. Oh my goodness. That's 216. And it's not like they set this up over the span of 5 years and, this is the total tally. God, man, like you don't think it's that much of a problem because, you don't know anybody who does this. I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope that's like just a Florida specific phenomenon. The scary part is it's probably not, but, Disney workers are in there. School athletic directors are in there. 219 people arrested. That's a lot. That's freaky. I'm sorry. I can't. That's weird. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
All right, for my final salvo on Florida stories here. Listen. I do not want any complaints about how, oh, you missed this story that happened in Florida like 3 weeks ago. Oh, how come you didn't do this one? Or if you send me a story and I don't do it, I don't want to hear it. I only get to do like 3, 4, 5 stories a week. And I know there's like 28 crazy things that happen in Florida. I'm not going to get to every one of them. If you send it in, I'm sorry if I didn't get to it. There's like 20 people that are sending in stories. And to be fair, half of you that send in the stories are repeat stories, and I appreciate everyone. So it's good to know that the ones I pick out to do usually are going to make the most people happy. So if you have some obscure story that you've sent in that I didn't get to cover and I've moved on and it happened like 6 months ago, I would like to say a heartfelt I'm sorry. I do read and see every email that I get, and I appreciate every lead that I get. I'm sorry I didn't get to your story. There really is just too much. The state really is that bonkers. It is messed up in the head. It is like Charlie Sheen on bath salts, and that's not my fault, but I appreciate the effort. Thank you. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. What is it?
Stories is produced by Spring Rock. Follow me on Twitter at Florida Stories J. I'm James Parker, and this is Florida Stories. James Parker here. I've been working with Dwayne Stein on the radio version of Mortgage Gumbo for years, and then a couple of years ago, I actually needed a mortgage. Me and my wife were moving to another state, and this was complicated. I'm a self-employed guy, so I like to, for tax purposes, have my income as low as possible. So does that hurt me qualifying? Wife is quitting her job and taking a new job. We're selling an existing house while at the same time buying a new house. All kinds of complications. And Dwayne's not just full of hot air on the radio show. He took the reins, took care of it for me, got all my paperwork. Him and Sam teamed up, and if there was a request for more info, they usually jumped on it before I even saw the email. Someone, I'm not going to name any names, but one of our realtors missed something in the paperwork, and Dwayne caught it. I'm not making this up just to make a good commercial. He's legit. So if you're buying, you need a refi, reverse, anything like that, call Dwayne Stein at Mortgage Gumbo. Go to mortgagegumbo.com.
Dad can.